All right. Hi, guys. So welcome to my live training. We are going to be discussing some of my favorite things today. But to start, I just want to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. I know some of you are on here that have done a round, or you guys have you've done a round or you've signed up for one that's starting soon. So my name is Sarah Dussault. I am a certified personal trainer. I am a group X instructor, rather former, pre and postnatal specialist. I'm a certified Institute of Integrative Nutrition holistic health coach. I'm a mom of 3. I'm a former Barry's boot camp instructor, and I'm also a former big time YouTuber. I still do YouTube a little bit on the side, but it's not my full-time gig. So I have been someone that has been obsessed with health and fitness probably since I got into college. I was someone that did a lot of organized sports. And as soon as that stopped, I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. Maybe like a lot of you guys, we grew up, we were told to go to soccer practice, we were told to go to track practice, whatever your sport was. And then all of a sudden you got to a point where you no longer had practice anymore. And as a result, you had no idea what to do, right? For me, I was in college and I was constantly trying to lose the freshman 15 or the next sophomore 10. And I really relied on women's health magazines to educate myself, but I still didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I used running as a way to lose weight. My mom was a lifetime Weight Watchers member, still is. Does anybody have a mom in their life that was a lifelong member of Weight Watchers? I can remember sitting in class sophomore year, and one of my girlfriends who had a overactive thyroid was sitting there eating a huge bag of M&Ms. Meanwhile, I was counting my grapes and how many points my grapes were going to be. It was a pretty shitty way to go about food and my relationship with it and trying to remain within a certain point value of Weight Watchers. That was kind of my early experience in regards to that. As a result, I was kind of scarred and never wanted to dabble in tracking macros. That wasn't something for me because I had gone the extreme and was like a nutcase about the Weight Watchers points. Fast forward to I've just had Tommy and I just had Connor. I'm sorry. And I'm trying to lose weight. And I'm thinking, do not want to fall back into that trap again. For so long during my post-college, my professional career, I had been seriously dieting so that I could do these photo shoots. Because as I said, I was like a big time YouTuber. For those who don't know me, I was one of the very first fitness channels on YouTube. And I was constantly trying to lose another 5 or 10 pounds so that I would be skinny enough to be viewed as this ideal fitness person. I thought that if I looked so good, people would want my fitness routine, what I was doing, and then I could actually like sell a fitness routine. Well, I took my fitness obsession then to something like Barry's boot camp where I taught. And if you don't know what it is, it's a 50-minute, really high intense exercise where you're sprinting on a treadmill and then you're lifting weights. And it's essentially a 60-minute HIIT class. I would do that about 5 times a week. As a result, I was tired. I was irritable. I craved sugar nonstop. I was always hungry, and I still couldn't lose the last 5 pounds. So after I had Connor, I wanted to lose the baby weight, and I was like, I've got to do something else. I've got to find a way. I can't exercise because I hate my body. I need to exercise because I love my body. It gave me 2 beautiful babies. I now have 3, but at the time I had 2 beautiful babies. And I had always used restriction with food and exercise as punishment to get where I wanted to go. It wasn't until I discovered a program, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I discovered a program that really helped me change my relationship with food and exercise. And through that program, here are some of the pillars that I learned. And that's what I'm going to talk to you guys today about. I'm going to share my screen now with you. Share my screen. Here we go. And I'm going to go into present mode. No one judge me for how many tabs I have open. No one judge me. Okay, here we go. You guys can all see this, I assume. Yes. All right. So after Connor, I discovered how to actually finally have self-confidence. I no longer am chasing a number on the scale. And I truly believe that I have the special sauce, the secrets, and I feel a duty to share it with all of you guys. And that's why I'm doing it here today. All right. So I already told you guys who I was. We already went through this. I'm not going to talk about it, but hopefully most of you have a copy of this. So the first thing is your mindset. And I actually had a discussion with one of my VIPs this week, and she was asking me, she was, Sarah, how do I get more discipline to get back to being like I was when I first started the program? And I told her, you need to change your mindset. It's not about discipline. It's about consistency. If you miss a workout, it's not that you're not disciplined, okay? But the next day, you'll get back out there. It's about being consistent. We see the most amount of change with clients who are consistent, who show up. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to go on vacation and not exercise, okay? But we need to ditch the mindset of, number one, chasing a number on the scale. Muscle weighs more than fat. I weigh the same amount now that I did when I started the program, and I wear 2 jean sizes smaller. I was a 28 when I started, and now I'm a 26. I don't know how that happened, being the same weight. Well, I do know how it happened because I built lean muscle, and all the lean muscle that I've built allows my metabolism to be higher. So I burn through the treats that I eat without gaining weight. And I'm 2 sizes smaller because I've burnt through all that fat and I've put on lean muscle. And so I look and I measure leaner, but who cares what the scale says, right? It's all about what's up here. And strength training, actually, even if you don't lose weight, if you start strength training, it is going to improve your body's relationship, your mind's relationship with your body. People statistically, it's been shown, or I should say scientifically, it's been shown have a higher self-confidence, self-esteem when they lift weights, and it doesn't matter about the scale. We also focus, and this has to do with the discipline versus the consistency, focusing on progress over perfection. I was totally one of those people that would look at a day that had a slip up as a day that was lost and would go off the rails. Now, I can have my morning pancakes. I can have cookies and brownies in the middle of the day and not go on a binging spree at night. Because if you indulge, that is something that you wanted. Maybe it was for comfort. You enjoyed it. But, and I'll talk about this in a little bit. Now that I track macros, I realize that back in the day when slipping up during the day would set me off at night, now I realize that I can fit in those treats and still eat all the food that my body needs to function optimally and not gain weight. But in the past, I was like, oh, I'm going to gain weight. Like, this cookie is going to make me gain 5 pounds. I might as well just eat everything because tomorrow I'm going to punish myself with exercise. So no, we focus on progress. So progress would be having that cookie and not binging later at night. Being able to go and enjoy brunch with your family and say, hey, I enjoyed that. That was worth it. And you know what? I'm going to have some protein and I'm going to have some nutrient dense meals the rest of the day. It's not about all or nothing. It's about progress and consistency. And lastly, the mindset with exercise. I mentioned this earlier, but there's a lot of studies that suggest that exercise boosts your mood. When you're in a good mood, it's hard to feel bad about yourself, but studies also show, as I said, strength training boosts self-esteem, even if the scale doesn't budge. So here are the five pillars, in my opinion. Oh, wait, there's 4. I already talked about one, mindset. Mindset's 1. Number 2, ditch the exhaustive exercise. I mentioned this when I first started talking about myself and my experience, but I used to do marathon training. I did Barry's boot camp. We now know that excessive HIIT exercise, sorry, I don't know how to turn off my phone. I keep getting alerts for sales. Excessive exercise, okay, this is excessive. I'm not talking about normal amounts. Excessive exercise causes your body to be in a state of stress. if you are constantly exercising and never giving your body rest, then you are going to be releasing cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. It signals your body to store fat instead of burn fat. If you are constantly exercising and you're not giving your body a rest, you're going to be chronically inflamed. You're going to have those irritable mood swings. You're going to be cranky. You're going to be having sugar cravings. You're going to be tired, but your body is going to be producing this extra cortisol. This is going to prevent you from losing fat. You're exercising to lose fat, but when you do it wrong, when you do it excessive, it's going to cause your body to do the exact opposite of what you want. Now, and I've always said this, I'm the leanest when I do the least amount of cardio and the most amount of strength training. Okay. What do I do for cardio now? I do about 20 to 45 minutes a week of challenging cardio, like on my Peloton. And then I will do 30-minute fun rides here and there. But really, I do about 2 challenging workouts, 20 to 45-minute long Peloton HIIT workouts a week. That's it. I just do 2. I barely do any cardio the rest of the week. It's important to get in your steps. I'm not saying not to move your body. I'm just saying getting your heart rate in that really high, the orange, the red zone every single day is going to have the opposite effect of what you want it to. So if this sounds like you could even leave a comment and I'll get to you. Next, lifting weights. This is a huge one. And I've mentioned this in the beginning. Lifting weights is going to build lean muscle that's going to elevate your resting metabolic rate. It's also going to help prevent you from ever getting into a position of metabolic adaptation, which is when your body gets really good at what you've been doing and it ceases to change. Okay. When we lift weights, we're going to raise that metabolic rate and we're going to burn more fat over time. We're going to build that lean muscle. It's going to give us that sculpted look that we all want. And we're going to feel better. We're going to age better. And trust me, you're not going to regret it. You will not get bulky, I promise you. Next, protein. When I was younger, I was never eating enough protein. Never. Typically in the faster way, as a coach, we want most of our clients eating at least 100 grams of protein a day. I know that sounds like a lot, but if your goal is fat loss or building lean muscle, this is one of the keys. And as a faster way coach, we teach you the correct portions between fat, carbs, and protein for long-term success. We do something called carb cycling, where some days we eat low carb and some days we eat more carbs, but making sure that you eat enough protein is going to help keep your cravings down. So before Faster Way Sarah, I was doing my berries classes and I was under eating, and then I would constantly want sugar because I wasn't eating enough. And I wasn't eating enough carbs, and I really wasn't eating enough protein to put on the muscle that I was working to build. So really, by doing berries classes, I was just constantly breaking down the muscle and I was never rebuilding it because I wasn't resting and I wasn't eating enough protein. Those were my 2 issues. Those were my 2 problems. And I wish someone had said, hey, Sarah, you should start tracking your macros. You should eat more protein. I think I have a question and I'm struggling to see how it is. Well, I'll look at it in a minute. Lastly, or not lastly, but one of the end pillars is meal prepping and planning. This is one of the secrets to success in my groups. If this is not for you, that's fine. I just tell my clients then eat our meal plan or just eat real food. Don't eat processed foods and stick with that. But for everybody, I really recommend taking about 15 minutes a week to plan out what you're going to have, even if you're not tracking macros. Just plan it out. Go to the grocery store, get the ingredients, have them on hand and prep them. We have a nanny. I know a lot of you guys have nannies. Sometimes when Elle is napping and she doesn't have anything to do, I'll be like, hey, can you just chop up these peppers and onions? It takes her 5 minutes, but that's 5 minutes I don't have to do while she's gone and I am trying to fend off 3 hungry kids. I do not fend them off like that. I really try one new recipe a week, maybe 1 or 2. I tried an awesome one last night, actually. Check out my Instagram for that. But that is really all about that I do. Did someone leave a comment? I can't see it, but I thought it came through, but not a big deal. Okay. So I'm going to open it up for questions before I go into a little bit more. If anybody has a question, please feel free to use the chat feature, or even let me know where you're calling in from. I love knowing where everybody's calling in from. And if you want, you can even unmute yourself if you're not able to type. And I am going to continue. Once I see a question, I'll answer it. But if you don't have one, then I'll continue. All right. Lastly, okay. You guys are a quiet bunch. All right. I'm not going to share that screen. Okay. Usually I get a lot of questions or I get no questions. There's no in between. All right. So lastly, we are going to talk about what you can do to take action. So I want everybody right now to pull out your phone, pull out your notes app, and I want you to write down, what is your why? So pull out your phone, give you guys a minute. I'm pulling out my phone. Write down, open up the notes. What is your why? What is your goal? And if you were to reach your goal, how would your life look different? And why is it important for you to reach this goal? I'm going to give you guys a minute. But the question is, what is your why? What is your goal? And if you were to reach this goal, how would your life look different? For me, my goal was honestly to find a healthier relationship with food and fitness, so that when my kids are old enough to be impressionable, and that's honestly now, I would not pass on my unhealthy relationships to them. That was my why. Brittany asked, how do you get your protein goals? So I'm going to talk about that, Brittany. I love it. Michelle said, I just did Sarah's 6 weeks and already feel leaner. I love it. So Brittany, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. One of the questions was, do I have or have I tried intermittent fasting? What is my take on that? Awesome question, guys. You're leading me to what I was going to talk about next. So if you haven't already, make sure that you write down in your notes app, what's your why. Next, write down a plan. Okay. That is your goal. And write down what days and times you plan to fit in 3 strength workouts and what day you plan to take 15 minutes to meal plan. That is what you're putting down next in the notes app. So you have what your why is, and then what's your plan? More specifically, what days and times are you going to work out 3 times, fit in 3 strength workouts? And when are you going to take 15 minutes to meal plan? All right. So now I'm going to get to those questions. I am. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Here we go. Again, no one judge me on my tabs. Okay. I'm sure there's someone that's into tech that knows I'm doing this wrong. Okay. So next, I was asked, how do you get your protein goals and my thoughts on intermittent fasting? Here's my thoughts on intermittent fasting. I do not think it is the end all be all. To be honest, most of my clients, so as a coach in the faster way, I am a fitness and nutrition coach. Okay. I have clients who have been with me for over 3 years. It is not a quick fix. It is not a 30-day solution. It is honestly a long-term sustainable lifestyle. So in the 6 weeks, things that we teach you, so it's basically like a course, and I teach you these tools that I'm about to mention. And if the tools work for you, we use them, we implement them. If the tools do not work for you, we put them in your back pocket. You don't need to use them right now. When you're ready, when they fit your lifestyle, you do. So one of the tools that we use is intermittent fasting. I believe in the power of intermittent fasting when it comes to autophagy, which is basically your body ridding itself of toxins. It does this naturally. You do not need to do a detox, but your body does it more efficiently when it's at digestive rest. Digestive rest means when your body is not digesting food, You're not eating food, you're not exercising. Your body is just focusing on autophagy, getting rid of those dead cells that your body no longer needs that contribute to a lot of different diseases. I also feel that intermittent fasting is super beneficial for cognitive function. I am someone that has ADHD. I find that when I am in a fasting state, I am much more productive. I have laser-like focus and I do not have brain fog. I do think that intermittent fasting can aid in fat burning, but I do not think it is the end all be all to weight loss. I think intermittent fasting becomes really important when you have this time at night that you're like, okay, I'm done eating for the day. And when we combine that with macro tracking, we ensure that you're eating enough before that window closes. If you're not tracking your macros, a lot of people that do intermittent fasting, they don't eat enough. And that's where they run into trouble. But when you track macros in connection with intermittent fasting, especially with us, you're eating enough so that once that window closes, the kitchen is closed. I was one of those people that would eat sugar after the kids went to bed, because I didn't eat enough during the day and I wanted something to eat. And what do we eat after dinner? We eat dessert. So without intermittent fasting, I would have this, or without macro tracking too, without macro tracking intermittent fasting, I was always hungry after dinner because I wasn't eating enough. And then I was hungry after dinner and I immediately went to sugar because I was over exercising, right? But once I started tracking my macros and doing intermittent fasting, I never wanted to binge at night. I was no longer hungry. But I think intermittent fasting is really helpful for clients because it's like, I got to get in my macros before this hour, because I think once you're tired and you start to snack on a few M&Ms and then more M&Ms and then a little bit more, and then maybe I'll just put the M&Ms in some ice cream, it's a slippery slope. And that's really where I see clients struggle with that late night snacking. So intermittent fasting kind of eliminates it. If my clients are hungry in the morning, I tell them to eat. And full disclosure, most of my clients do between a 12 and a 14-hour fast, which means they stop eating at 8 p.m. and they eat breakfast at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. For me, I unintentionally intermittent fast because I don't have time to eat breakfast when my kids are going to school. As soon as I drop them off at school, I come home, I exercise, and then I eat, and that's 10 o'clock. We also teach carb cycling, macro tracking. And when we teach you macro tracking, we will come up with your macros together. I send a lot of my clients their macros, but my clients have the ability to figure them out on their own. We enable you with the tools to do it on your own in our app, and we give those to you. So we have our own special calculator in the Faster Way, and I, as a coach, will work with you to create ideal target macros. We also teach you how to strategically pair workouts with your food cycle for maximum food burn. What can you expect when you sign up for around daily coaching? I will post something in a Facebook private accountability Facebook group. I will text you weekly. I will email you weekly, and you can text me any day. You can text me every single day, but we have a Facebook group where we're posting in every single day, and you're encouraged to be there and ask questions if you have them. We also provide you with weekly meal guides and grocery lists. They change every single week for meat eating and for vegans. We also give you access to our app that includes our daily 30-minute workouts, as well as tons of guides and cheat sheets to help you track your macros, to help you figure out your macros and hit them with delicious meals and snacks. We also provide the small group accountability. One more question. Emily said, I hate tracking. So tips to work around that, but still hold yourself accountable. Yes, I hate tracking as well. So number one, you have the option. We create a meal plan. And that meal plan is about 1,650 calories. I have clients that eat 1,900. I have clients that eat 1,500. The meal plan is geared towards 1,650. If you hate tracking, you can just follow our meal plan. It is created and designed to hit them. Alternatively, I tell my clients to just track protein. That tends to be the one that really is the needle mover, in my opinion. Most of my clients are not eating enough protein or carbs, and they're eating too much fat. Too many years of the no carb lifestyle has really done a disservice to us. Our body needs carbs, especially as women. We need those carbs. If you have a low functioning thyroid, please do not do keto. Your body needs carbs. But if you hate tracking, truth be told, I don't track. I tracked for about 6 weeks pretty religiously. And I now kind of just know how my body feels. I know that my meals need to be really balanced with protein, fats, and carbohydrates most days of the week. And have, I have high aspirations for my clients that they will be able to intuitively do this as well. I think it takes practice, but tips to get around it are either A, follow the meal plan, B, plan out a week of hitting macros would look like, take 15 minutes to do that and repeat that, rinse and repeat, eat the same thing 2 or 3 weeks until you feel good and comfortable about where your protein's at, where your carbs and fat are at. Alternatively, you could do meal services. So I love this Azaluna. There's also a Nutri that sends you meals that already have the macros on them. So you could order those and kind of reverse engineer your macro goals for the day. And so I don't know if that is helpful to you. But I eat the same 3 or 4 breakfasts. I use an Excel spreadsheet, and I also will eat very few lunches. And then it's easy for me to kind of plug and play if I'm using those meal delivery services. Does anybody else have any other questions? I try to keep these to 30 minutes because nobody wants to watch anything more than that. I don't see them, but my next Faster Way round does start March 6th. If you're interested in joining me, I would love to have you. I would love to have you and a buddy that you can have there for accountability. Send me a DM on Instagram. I will be sending out this replay, but I would love to work with you guys to help you build a healthier relationship with food and exercise. I want you guys to learn how to eat the right combination of foods for energy and fat loss. That's what I'm here for. I want you guys to feel the power of our amazing workouts that are the same quality as, honestly, a private personal training session. I think that our workouts are worth $500 a month. I do. They're not. They're $79 a month after the 6-week new client program. But I have clients that are VIP members for 3 years because they just love the program. They're all getting Monogram bags this week, or rather this month. Alma said, if we have questions about what we can or cannot eat, should I DM you? Yes, but I know you're starting March 6th. So we will talk about that too in the beginning, new client, welcome meeting. Courtney asked, do people do my sessions over and over? I struggle to maintain after initial session, but not sure I could commit long-term. So typically what people do is they will do the 6-week program and then they will roll into VIP. I do have people that do repeat sessions. They just come for the 6 weeks and then they go, but that's not the norm. The norm is that they do the 6 weeks and then they go into VIP for, 90 days. That tends to be a really popular sweet spot that people will commit for 90 days. And I think that that's a really strong commitment to see real change. I just posted these amazing before and afters of a client after 2 months, and they're just like incredible. So people tend not to do the 6-week session over and over because you get more features in the VIP community. You get more access to different workouts. We have like a workout library that you get access to. And so I really encourage my clients to go from the new client experience to VIP, but you don't have to. You can cancel it and come back as VIP whenever you want. I sometimes will have clients come in as VIP and then they will transition from VIP. They'll be in my VIP, but then I'll add them to like my new client communication. So they'll feel like a new client, but they're not a new client. We're wrapping up. I know I have someone who just joined. We are just wrapping up, but I will send you the replay. If there's any other questions you guys have, feel free to DM me, and I will send out the replay. And if you are interested in joining, again, would love to have you. Any questions at all, let me know, and I will see you guys, hopefully in my next round. All right. Bye, guys.